break time is like 30 minutes, and somehow I find a way to take a 35-minute break. Does he see that? That's so insignificant, isn't it? Or how about, do I faithfully study for all my tests at school? Or how do I treat my kids? How do I treat my grandkids? What about when I break a promise? What does God see? I mean, he says, and the very hairs on your head are numbered. So, if he knows how many hairs are mine, does he also count the hairs? David thought about that too. Because he wrote another song. And he said, basically this. He said, Lord, if you keep a record of sins, if you kept a record of sins, he says, oh Lord, who could stand? And David was thinking a lot. Probably about his adultery that he tried to cover up. He was thinking about the murder for hire that he thought he could get away with. Oh Lord, if you kept a record of sins, oh Lord, who could stand? And then we think, have I ever been proud? I mean, none of us would say that we've at least physically committed adultery or that we put a contract out on somebody's life. That's really big stuff. But then we think, well, proud or disobedient or lazy. That's so insignificant, and yet Jesus says here, we can't rationalize our sin away, friends. We can't sweep it under the carpet. We can't pretend that there are trivial things when it comes to our obedience to God. Adam and Eve tried that. Their story is very familiar. Two naked people running around in the garden. One thing they had to do, avoid eating a piece of fruit that God had designated to be off limits. And they did. And what did they do? They hid the bushes, right? The God who knows our hairs counts our errors. He sees it. He knows it. And yet, what's remarkable is that he chooses to forget our errors. Listen again to David. David said this, but with you, this is the same song in which he writes and talks about, oh Lord, if you kept a record of sins, who could stand?